Thank you for respecting the time. Yes, Honourable Minister.
Madam Speaker, over the past year, we have implemented wide-ranging reforms in the financial services sector. These reforms were necessary to safeguard the reputation and integrity of our sector. They were necessary because of global regulatory changes and innovation. Earlier in the year, Parliament enacted the Anti-Money Laundering, Combating the Financing of Terrorism and Countering Proliferation Financing Miscellaneous Provision Act, which brought forward a comprehensive and forward-looking set of reforms ahead of the mutual evaluation by ISAMLAG in 2027. Today, we are making some further amendments that complement the technical compliance that Mauritius needs to demonstrate. In this context, the bills in front of the House address several legislation, including the FIAMLA, the Banking Act, the Cooperatives Act, the Companies Act, the Waqf Act, and the Jewellery Act. First, the FIAMLA. We are amending the 5th schedule to exclude third-party administrators from AML-CFT obligations. These administrators perform largely administrative function on behalf of licensed insurers and do not deal directly with consumer funds or transactions, yet are currently required to comply with the full set of AML-CFT requirements. The Banking Act. The proposed amendments to the Banking Act will strengthen information sharing between financial institutions and competent authorities. The Cooperative Act. Regarding the Cooperative Act, certain societies which are performing credit union activities are currently not covered. The definition of credit union is being expanded under the FIAMLA to include any society under the Cooperative Act which provides financial services to its members. This protects depositors, often small planters, who use these entities. It ensures compliance with the AML-CFT CPF framework. The Jewellery Act. In the same spirit, the Jewellery Act is being amended to assist in the implementation of AML-CFT supervisory functions of the Assay Office. The Companies Act is also being amended to extend beneficial ownership requirements to partnerships, including Société Civile and Société Commerciale, ensuring that competent authorities have timely access to accurate and up-to-date beneficial ownership information in line with FATF Recommendation 24. This reform further strengthens Mauritius' framework for combating money laundering and the misuse of complex legal structures. The Waqf Act. The bill is strengthening the governance, accountability, and financial integrity of Waqfs. It introduces clear definitions aligned with Mauritius' AML-CFT framework, and the amendments also establish a comprehensive governance framework by empowering the Waqf Board. Over and above the AML-CFT provisions, the bill proposes further amendments to ensure that we are looking at the financial sector in a holistic manner. Let me start with the Financial Services Act. Section 19(1) of the Financial Services Act currently allows a licensee who has submitted false or misleading information to avoid enforcement action simply by surrendering its license. We are closing that loophole by extending the offense to past licensees. And under Section 31, the FSC currently has no power to act against misleading advertisements or promotional activity that could undermine investor confidence or market integrity. The amendment now empowers the FSC to take action against any person, licensed or not, engage in such deceptive advertising. New Section 48A to 48D establishes a conservatorship framework allowing the FSC to intervene in distressed licenses by appointing a conservator to protect assets, safeguard client interests, and support rehabilitation or reorganization where appropriate, providing an alternative to immediate license revocation. Section 71(3)(b) is being amended to require global business licensees to operate their bank accounts under signatory arrangements compliant with FSC guidelines, giving legal effect to the requirement that authorized signatories include at least one approved officer of the management company. This measure reinforces the substance requirement of management and control in Mauritius, strengthens corporate governance, and ensures that operation of bank account reflect genuine oversight and accountability within the jurisdiction. A new Section 79(b) introduces a private wealth management license framework, allowing license providers to offer approved services under the FSC rules. The framework aims to enhance Mauritius' appeal as a regulated and trusted jurisdiction for high net worth and ultra high net worth individuals. Madam Speaker, the Commission's accounts are currently audited by foreign private audit firms. In order to ensure institutional efficiency, Section 85 is being amended so FSC's financial statements are audited either by the Director of Audit or another external auditor on a defined statutory timeline and through a transparent and competitive process. A new Section 87D requires that all applications to the FSC, including for the appointment of officers, be submitted through the FSC1 platform or as determined, promoting digitalization and easing the burden of dealing with both manual and online channels. Section 88(1) extends immunity and protection from liability, currently available to board members, employees, and chief executive acting in good faith to administrators and conservators appointed by the FSC. Madam Speaker, I also informed the House during the budget debates that the national fintech strategy launched recently has the potential to be a game changer for our economy. This bill amends the Financial Services Act to establish the National Fintech Governance Committee as the central coordination and oversight body for implementing that strategy. This body will have the responsibility to implement the fintech strategy and ensure that there is focus on execution and delivery with demonstrable results so we can shape the next generation of financial services value proposition. Madam Speaker, let me now turn to the Financial Reporting Act. Investors and stakeholders increasingly consider ESG disclosures as an essential part of modern corporate reporting and responsible business practices. We are inserting a definition of sustainability reporting standards into Section 2 of the Financial Reporting Act. We are adding a new Section 73A to enable the Financial Reporting Council to establish a sustainability reporting framework and provide for its implementation on either a voluntary or mandatory basis. This approach will allow Mauritius to adopt internationally recognized sustainability reporting standards while ensuring that implementation remains proportionate and appropriate to the country. To ensure the effectiveness of the Financial Reporting Act, Section 76 and 79(1) are being amended so that the Council can take enforcement action where entities that fail to comply with the required standard, exercising the same oversight over sustainability reporting as it already does over financial reporting. These reforms, Madam Speaker, will help Mauritian businesses and the Mauritius IFC to better exploit sustainable source of finance. Madam Speaker, the Variable Capital Companies Act, VCCs, the amendments to the Act allow protected cell companies to convert directly into VCCs, removing administrative barriers and ensuring legal continuity. They also clarify that VCCs may, with prior Commission approval, provide certain services to their sub-funds, strengthening Mauritius' competitiveness as an investment fund jurisdiction. The Virtual Asset and Initial Token Offering Services Act. These amendments strengthen the digital asset framework by clarifying that senior executives of virtual asset service providers must be both Mauritius residents and hold senior management position. It also prohibits unlicensed persons from soliciting investors in Mauritius for virtual assets activities or initial token offerings. The Captive Insurance Act. Section 16 is being amended to allow the Financial Services Commission to grant captive insurance extensions for regulatory filings where valid reasons exist, providing flexibility while maintaining oversight. The Income Tax Act. The Income Tax Act clarifies the definition of a global business entity through amendments to Section 2. This provides greater legal certainty while ensuring our global business regime remains genuinely focused on international activities. Madam Speaker, another very important amendment brought forward by the budget 2026-2027 in the bill is to ensure that non-executive directors are no longer personally liable under the Income Tax Act as they are not involved in the operational decisions of the company. This was a matter of major concern among operators in the financial services sector, in the global business sector, especially management companies. My ministry, through the Financial Services Consultative Council Tax Working Group, has worked on this amendment in the law as it has direct impact on the ease and cost of doing business in Mauritius. It gives more clarity to businesses. Currently, a secretary, a manager, or other principal officers of a company are deemed to be agents of that company and may become personally liable for the company's unpaid income tax. In order to restrict directors' liabilities for unpaid income tax only to officers in an executive management position, the Finance Bill has amended the Income Tax Act to define principal officer. These measures promote stronger corporate governance, encourage timely compliance, and reinforce the integrity of our tax administration. They are fully consistent with government's commitment to enhance tax compliance while ensuring clarity and fairness in the administration of our tax laws. In another case in point, the bill introduces a number of measures relating to qualified domestic minimum top-up tax, QDMTT. Again, the tax working group under the Financial Services Consultative Council has been working with the relevant stakeholders towards identifying appropriate measures to ensure compliance with OECD Pillar 2 rules while maintaining Mauritius' competitiveness. All these amendments, Madam Speaker, reinforce both the credibility and the competitiveness of our international financial center, and demonstrate that Mauritius continues to implement international tax reforms in a pragmatic and responsible manner. Madam Speaker, these bills in front of the House are not simply about amending legislation. It is about preparing Mauritius for the future. The bills presented today will serve us this fiscal year and beyond. The bills are fully aligned with our broader national ambition under Vision 2050, where the financial sector is one of the strongest drivers of future growth. Madam Speaker, in my previous budget remarks, I had commended the Prime Minister for choosing leadership rather than political expediency, for being bold in taking the necessary decisions to secure both our present and our future. Madam Speaker, being the Minister of Finance is perhaps one of the toughest jobs, if not the toughest job at this point in time. Let me borrow a quote from the first speech of the British Prime Minister Andy Burnham last week. He says, and I quote, "Let's take a problem-solving rather than a point-scoring approach. Let's have the courage to fix the big things that politics has neglected and have the convictions to go about there together and argue for our plans." So in conclusion, Madam Speaker, let me therefore again congratulate the Prime Minister for having the audacity and the courage to solve today's problems and not do politics with the future of this nation. And I therefore commend these bills to the House and give them my full support. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, thank you for respecting time. Yes, Honourable